I want to ask you about this claim, Mr. Trump saying he saw thousands and thousands of Muslims in New Jersey cheering as the Twin Towers came down on 9/11. Now, media organizations, left, right, and center, have searched for any footage of this. No one has produced even a still photo. The former New Jersey Attorney General, John Farmer, who was on the 9/11 Commission, says his office heard the same rumor at the time. They investigated it. They found nothing. Farmer says, quote,
how come I'm under the impression that the FBI had detained quite a large number of people? And even over this weekend at a function that I was attending, I had a significant number of people turn around and say it wasn't just taking place in Jersey City. It also took place on Atlantic Avenue in Brooklyn.
I just want to ask you, detaining people and terrorist suspects or whatever happened with the FBI,
people don't normally get detained because they're sitting and having an ice cream, at their local ice cream shop. They were clearly doing something which gave enough cause to the FBI within which to detain people.
It's a separate issue, sir. But the basic question is this. How do you explain that there's no evidence, no video evidence for what Mr. Trump claims he saw on television? How do you explain that?
I'm not so sure that that's true, and I've worked for Mr. Trump now for a long time, and I can tell you that Mr. Trump's memory is fantastic, and I've never come across a situation where Mr. Trump has said something that's not accurate.
There are... seriously?
Yes, seriously.
All right. Well, there is no video of this, is all I'm saying. There's no video of this, and you would think that by now somebody would have come forward and said, I mean, you have a lot of supporters out there. You're the Republican frontrunner.
You have a lot of people on Mr. Trump's social media saying, I saw it. I saw it with my own eyes. But then again, look, here's the problem. The problem is that the accusers, meaning the mainstream, no matter what Donald Trump says, they're going to try to refute to the best of their ability, and it's just not working. That's really the problem.
You don't think
it's just not working.
You don't think that there are conservative media outlets out there who want Donald Trump to win, who want Donald Trump to be the next president, who would desperately love to put this up on their video, this video on their websites or on TV?
And they put up other things which corroborate Mr. Trump's statement.
No,
but at the end of the day, you're talking about there are Christians that are getting their heads chopped off. There was a photo of a Christian woman who was killed by having a cross basically rammed through her head. We have our president off somewhere talking about climate change. We have a very serious issue in the United States, according to the FBI, that there are Islamic terrorist groups, ISIS-linked groups in every single state in this country. And we want to talk about whether or not that there were 1,000 people or 2,000 people that were sitting there and cheering. Right?
Or
you have thousands of people on Mr. Trump's social media that attest to it.
All right.
Are you calling all of them liars?
I don't know who you're talking about. You're talking about people on Twitter. But let me move on, because obviously I have gotten as far as I can with this line of questioning. I do want to ask.
And at the end of the day, this line of questioning is really silly. And I mean, Sarah Murray, with even her previous statements, Sarah Murray is exactly one of those accusers that no matter what Donald Trump says, you guys are going to go ahead and take a look at and try to figure out a way how to diminish and demean Mr. Trump.
It's the scrutiny that comes with being a front runner when somebody.
I don't see any other scrutiny being thrown at anybody to the extent that you're throwing it against Donald Trump.
Well,
but, you're right. Let's move on.
He is the front runner. But I do want to ask you, because I have not asked you yet. In defending his remarks about 9/11 and Muslims in New Jersey, Trump cited this report from 2001 in the Washington Post from Serge Kovaleski. Kovaleski is a reporter. He suffers from a condition that limits movement in his arms. Now, this is Trump at a rally talking about this reporter.
About northern New Jersey draws the prober's eye, written by a nice reporter. Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember. He's going like, I don't remember. Maybe that's what I said.
All right. Now, let's put up, there's a still photo of Donald Trump from that event and a picture of Mr. Kovaleski. Now, Mr. Trump insists he was not making fun of Kovaleski's disability, and he doesn't remember even meeting Kovaleski, who covered him in the past. But at that event...
Do you know, Jake, how many people do you think have covered Donald Trump in the past? Thousands upon thousands.
How many people with that disability? I would guess one.
Do you really think that Mr. Trump remembers this specific reporter? The answer is Mr. Trump himself said he does not remember.
You said he has a fantastic memory.
He most certainly does. He sees thousands and thousands of reporters a year.
But
he does not remember this guy. Now, let me say one more
thing. Michael, he said
Mr.
this was written by a nice reporter. He said it was written by a nice reporter. You got to see this guy.
He was talking about the article until he ended up pulling it back, which he did for whatever the reason that he did. But let me say this.
You got to see this guy, and then he mimics his injury.
Mr. Trump donates millions and millions of dollars each and every year in order to combat disabilities, in order to combat cancer, whether it's children, where he donates millions of dollars a year. Mr. Trump is not the type of individual that's going to make fun of somebody's disability. He wouldn't know this guy prior to this entire nonsense.
But we just saw him do it.
He does not.
We just saw him make fun of his disability.
He was not making fun. He was being gesticulate, which Donald Trump is, and he was basically showing the exasperation of a reporter that's pulling back on a story, exasperation, and basically saying something like, oh, now I don't remember, now I don't remember. Had nothing to do with his disability.
And it just so happened, but first of all, he said, he's a nice guy, and then he said, you got to see this guy, and then he twists his arms to mimic the disability.
He wasn't twisting his arm to mimic anything. And, you know, going back to the guy from the Black Lives Matter, the guy was so far away from the group. Mr. Trump had no idea if it was a male, if it was female, though from the voice he probably could tell. But he was so far away with lights in his eyes, he had no idea the guy was African-American. He had no idea that he was part of Black Lives Matter. It's the same issue. It's the accusers will continue to accuse Mr. Trump and not give him a fair chance,
Michael,
within which, no matter what you tell me, Jake, I disagree with you.
Let me ask you a question.
Mr. Trump would never, ever make fun of somebody's disability.
Okay.
End of story.
Let me ask you this question. Do you ever have a conversation with him and say, you know, you really actually could be president. You're the front runner of you could get the Republican nomination. You actually could win. Now's maybe a time to be a little bit more of a statesman and not attack people on Twitter and not make fun of whatever? Like, do you guys ever have that conversation?
Well, we definitely talk about Mr. Trump being the front runner, and we definitely talk about Mr. Trump winning the presidential bid in this upcoming election. And I will tell you that at this meeting that we had today with the pastors, I will tell you that the topic did come up, that many of the pastors said that we are taking a tremendous amount of heat as a result of some of these comments, despite the fact that they are inaccurate, that the media loves to portray Mr. Trump in a negative light.
I'm just airing video of him, Michael. I mean, I'm not portraying him in a negative light. We just aired video. And
you also aired video of Mr. Trump when he turned around. He said that Mexico was sending in, you know, all different types of people. And what he never said that they're Hispanic, so that they're Mexican. The whole world knows that there's 2,000 miles of open border that people are sifting through. He was bringing that up. He's not scripted. This is something that we understand.
Sure.
Mr. Trump is not your prototypical politician. He's not a politician.
Agreed.
He is an entrepreneur extraordinaire. He's insanely bright.
But my question is,
he is a doer. And what he will do is his mantra. He will make America great again. And this is the takeaway that these pastors who came to see him today.
Well, let me ask you this, Michael. What's your message to the disabled little boy or little girl who see that video and say, it sure looks as though the Republican frontrunner is making fun of a physical disability, and even though he says he's not, it sure looks as though he is. And what's the message to that little boy and little girl?
The message is that Donald Trump would never, not today, not yesterday, not ever, would never make fun of another person's disability, ever. End of story.